Okay, thank you for that. So, John, you're sort of on the other end of the spectrum if we're looking at a spectrum that goes from for-profit to non-profit. And you have a very interesting story yourself as a patient. So, no, it is. He's looking at me like, well, it's not that interesting, but it is. Uh, so maybe, tell us a bit about your own story. How did you get involved in the space? And how do you think nonprofits can have a place in building this new paradigm that we're all here trying to build?
Yeah, absolutely. And thanks for having me. And I don't know if my story is that interesting because I meet a lot of people, and over the last few days especially, similar stories where, current treatments for mental health disorders don't work for the, vast majority of people. And someone has a psychedelic-assisted therapy session, and it does a lot more work. So I was a study participant at NYU, and prior to that, I tried everything to stop drinking. So rehab, AA, different pharmaceutical medications, and nothing worked, and I really wanted to stop. And I was always afraid of psychedelics, but I was so desperate at the time that I had nothing to lose. I was out of options. So I enrolled in this clinical trial, and virtually after my first of 3 psilocybin sessions, I stopped drinking. And I haven't needed therapy since my last psilocybin session. So no AA, I haven't substituted my drinking for any drug use or anything else, any other vices. It almost worked like an antibiotic where I went in with a disease or a disorder. I did psychotherapy with psilocybin-assisted therapy, and it's been since 2015. And it's just remarkable how easy it was compared to everything else. I was a news anchor at the time. I had, pretty intensive work hours, and I didn't miss a beat of work. I would just go in, meet with the doctors, an hour a week, and then go back to work. So since then, I made a deal with God. I was so desperate. I went in there, I said, before my first session, if this works for me, I'll do anything I can to help bring this to other people. And because I've just had, too many friends die. And so it worked. So we launched the Apollo Pact, which is a nonprofit patient advocacy with another patient, Ali Amir Hushmand, who's from Johns Hopkins, and he's also one of the top lobbyists in the country. And so his expertise, along with our chairwoman, who's really spearheading this, Chairman, Congresswoman Mimi Walters, she's a huge advocate. Congress and members and senators have been reaching out to us for education and what this research looks like, because their constituents are hurting. It's all of us, and nothing is working right now. And the data from MAPS and Hefter and USONA are all looking a lot better than our current treatments. And we're not on recurring, pills or anything. You're not going to the doctor every week or, taking a pill every day. I haven't done this since 2016. And that's how well it worked for me. So you guys should be clapping for the doctors and Hefter and speaking of nonprofits, this whole sector really was created because of the work of MAPS and Hefter. The study that I was a part of that saved my life was funded by a nonprofit. So we've created a nonprofit, the Apollo Pact, to help bridge nonprofits and for-profits and help with, the regulatory framework and the education. And because the stigma is the real thing, a lot of folks don't know that psilocybin is not addictive, right? I don't microdose, or I'm not on the, I did this a couple of times and I'm done. So that's how well it worked for me. And this could save a lot of lives. So that's what we're working on.
Awesome.